also highlight how virtual work and entrepreneurship, this can be digital or non-digital, are opening new economic pathways for persons with disabilities. The team here will also showcase examples of accessible business environments, tools, and inclusive marketplaces. We are going together with this team to identify barriers to entrepreneurship, such as inaccessible finance, limited networks, and lack of inclusive training. Additionally, we are going to discuss how cross-sector partnerships can provide the support to entrepreneurs with disabilities need to start and scale their ventures. Lastly, we want to inspire policy and investment strategies to promote entrepreneurship as a tool for sustainable inclusion. I'll be the moderator of the session, Lucy Murage. I also want to introduce the panel with me here. So first we have from Benin, we have Malise Moncho. Next to Malin, we have Annette Gerana Isaiah from Tanzania. We also have Rahim Yusuf Olatuji, all the way from Nigeria. Joining us as well, we have Victoria Matevogo from South Africa. We are also going to be joined by Eva Gary, yes, from Kenya. A round of applause to the panelists. Thank you so much. Thank you, team. Most welcome. So to start us off, I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, what you do, of course, where you're coming from, and a bit of your experience in terms of the topic for the day. We can start with you, Malise.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's such a great honor for me to be among you, so inspiring change makers and leaders who are committed for digital inclusion. Today, for those who are not seeing me, I'm wearing a multicolor African dress. I'm wearing also a glasses and an orthosis on my feet. My name is Malise Moncho. I'm from Benin, and I'm digital inclusion advocate. I'm also founder and president of Horizon Digital Inclusion Bridge that aim to empower people with disability and women through technology. I'm also a data analyst consultant working remotely with international organizations such as the World Bank Group. I'm someone with both motor and visual disability, and that's not only shaped my perspective, but also my purpose. When I started my journey in tech, I'm not only a woman in a male-dominated field, but also a person with disability, navigating in a world that was not built for me. But technology changed it. It gives me a path to opportunity, independence, and flexibility. And today, with Horizon Digital Inclusion Bridge, we have already trained over 2,000 women and youth, including persons with disability, to enhance their skills and take advantage for the digital opportunity. And also, we are fighting for the digital inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Malise. Annette?
Hello, my name is Annette Gerana Isaiah from Tanzania. Also, I'm the founder and director of an organization known as Fuavita. This organization supports women with disability in Tanzania through income generating activities. We have a center where we produce different products. Some of the products are here. So that is a short introduction. But for those who cannot see me, I'm wearing the red in my head, and I wear the yellow coat and the black trouser. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Annette. Rahim.
Thank you so much. My name is Rahim Yusuf Olatunji. I work with Star Children Development Initiative as Director of Program. I am a Nigerian, 100% Nigerian. So as we work as Star Children Development Initiative, we have been working on the promotion of inclusive entertainment. We work around entrepreneurship, we work around economic inclusion, employment for persons with disability, particularly young youth with disability, children, caregiver. Yes, that's what we do. But let me also say that for those that cannot see me, wearing a striped kaftan with black color, with Yoruba cap, we call it aso-oke. It's made of aso-oke. That's one of the traditional wear from Western Nigeria. So, and today I will be speaking on entrepreneurship, leveraging on talent for young persons with disability as well. So, I have a background on promoting inclusive entertainment. What I mean inclusive entertainment, I'm talking about creative art. That has to do with music, comedy. We work around theater as well. And aside that, I have over 5 years experience working as an entrepreneur. And I also have a personal business that I've been working on, and it's also centered on accessibility, infrastructure accessibility, when you talk about ramp, when you talk about accessible toilets, accessible door, and so on and so forth. So it's a great pleasure to be here, and I hope that we are going to share our experience that are going to inspire young entrepreneurs with disability during this session. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Mateboho. My surname is Victoria. I'm from South Africa. My company name called Voice Out Deaf. I'm a director of the company. I'm wearing a purple blazer and a black trouser and a black top for those who cannot see me. So I'm a vegetable farmer. So my company is a hybrid, which is vegetables and with the social empowerment. So I currently have 3 different farms. So I hire deaf community. Currently I've got more than 20 deaf community who work in the farm. So they're in South Africa. So I'm doing a lot of empowerment and training and skill development for deaf community. So also teach them how to do themselves so that at the end of the day, they can also be empowered, start their own business and other deaf community and be independent. So that's what my company do. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly to you, Eva.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eva Ngare. I'm from Kenya. For those who can't see me, I'm wearing a polka-dotted dress, black and white. And and my hair is braided. I am truly honored today to speak about entrepreneurship. I'm the Director of Fundraising and Partnerships from the Action Foundation. It's an NGO that's domiciled here in Kenya. And we've been around for over 15 years, doing one thing and one thing only, working with children and young people with disabilities, including their caregivers, to be able to access inclusive health, inclusive education, and inclusive development. At the Action Foundation, talking about the topic we're talking today, we view entrepreneurship not as a last resort for young people or people with disabilities, but as a proactive and a very powerful pathway to innovation, number one, autonomy, and social change. So for many young people with disabilities, especially in Africa, and I'll talk about Kenya because it's a 15-year journey, we've learned a lot that entrepreneurship represents a space where young people with disabilities are really in control. They're in control of their world, they're in control of their finances, and they're independent. Where barriers can be reimagined as opportunities, and where being different is not wrong. It's a very strategic asset, number one, and number two, it's not a deficit. As I finish, today I want to focus on what it truly takes to move from just inspiration, not just motivational talk in this room, but structural impact. So at the end of this session, I hope we can co-create systems that will enable inclusive, sustainable, and scalable entrepreneurship, especially for the young people with disabilities. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. What a wealth of experience. Please let us appreciate them. Thank you so much. Then I have also an opportunity to describe myself. I am 5.5 in terms of height. I am dark. I have a gap in my teeth, and that is my sign name as well. And today I'm wearing a black trouser, black shoes, a blouse which has stripes, black and white, and I'm also braided, very long braids to describe Africa. Thank you so much. And now with those introductions, let's dive into our first question. We all know that entrepreneurship is facing a lot of barriers, and especially financial and systematic barriers. To you, Victoria, how can governments, banks, or even investors improve access to capital for young people who are entrepreneurs with disabilities?
Yeah, okay. So one of the solutions that we have is like looking at the government, looking at the branded finances that can also be included, and incubations for young people, and mentorship. So secondly, so you need a training specifically designed for youth and person with disability. So our government there in South Africa, they already offer these services. These challenges has already been addressed, where they include human and person with disability. The funding models have already been done in South Africa. So remember, you cannot just give a person a funding. So, but funding is not my biggest concern. And with government and financial institutions, my biggest concern first, it's you yourself as a youth person. To say, you need to first identify whether are you human first or are you disability first. Remember, in front of the law, the Constitution says we are all equal. So you need to ask yourself, are you a director of the company first or are you a disability person first? So for me, what I'm saying is that first, you are a business person first. And lastly, you are a disability. Why am I saying that? Remember, when you apply for finance, you need all the necessary documents, just like any other person who is not disability. You still need to comply. You still need to follow all the requirements. You still need to have a tax certificate and all those required. That documents, they are basically the guiding tools for you to be able to get funding. That's one of the most important things. So that's how basically I think that here in Kenya, I am not sure how our government, the government here in Kenya how the incubation programs are actually designed. Because of, you cannot just give a person money because of their disability. They have to, they must for them to have a skill of whatever exactly that they're doing. And lastly, they must have a customer. You cannot have a funding not having a customer to sell it to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Indeed, skills is a key factor here to consider. Over to you, Annette. Something to add in terms of the barriers?
Yeah, thank you very much for a good question. Yes, as you want to start business, whatever any business you want to start, of course you can have technology, you can have skills, but capital is necessary to start the business. Because when you look about the sometimes the gender, or you can look at person with disability barrier that they face. Most of them, if they are going to ask money for the banks or for the investors, first of all, they will be asking for collateral so that to show. So you can find that because most of the disability, they come from the poor family, and some of them, they did go to school. So sometimes if we cannot prepare the good environment for them to access capital, it will be difficult for them to start their business. So as for Vita that we did, usually we go to the remotest area and in the villages area, we train them to manufacture different goods, as like this peanut butter and mango pico, and sometimes we tell them to register their business, because most of the disability business, they are not the registers. They are doing the pet business. So we want this person with disability, their business to grow. So what do we think that we want to support this person with disability by giving them the training that will help them to start their business and to understand the barrier that they can face. So as the model that Fuavita used, sometimes when we approach different donors, so we ask them to put a budget or seed money, and also we buy the simple machine like blenders and or grind peanut butter machine, so that we give them, and after they are starting the business, from now they can go to the banks and they can show their business, and it will be easier for them to get that financial support. Like our government did in Tanzania, we have a special fund. This comes from municipal council. This is 10%. 2% goes to person with disability. So most of the challenge here, the information that the government provides is not friendly to person with disability. So that is some of the challenges that person with disability face, and we need to put our effort together to make sure that we reach to the person, we educate them so that they can access the financial support. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much. Those are great insights from Tanzania as well as South Africa. And just to remind you, the members of the audience, we are going to have Q&A session at the end, so please keep those questions. We'll come to you. Since day one of this conference, we have been talking about technology. Now we want to go beyond digital, because we know that there are some of the businesses that still do not need tech. To you, Rahim, how can we support small businesses, whether in agriculture, in crafts, in retail, or services that may not rely on tech, but still face inclusion barriers?
Thank you very much. I think, you know, in today's world, every business is, no matter the sector, actually also relying on digital or technology. However, for a small businesses who is struggling, maybe you are just a startup business, you may not, maybe you have not incorporated the use of technological agri mercenaries. There are a few things we can do to support them. And one of the things I think is missing with entrepreneurs with disability, especially in the area of agriculture, crafts, and other business sector, is that we do not have access to training. Training is very key. Capacity building is very key. For instance, one of the things that inspired my journey into start creating accessible infrastructures, I saw a huge deficit of inaccessibility in my country, Nigeria, and I have to bridge that gap. Most of the people that works around accessibility are architects, engineers. They are the ones that will construct ramp, bricklayers, and all of that. However, I saw a wide gap. So I have to come in as a person with disability who is in that shoe. Okay? And that is why I attended trainings. There's the World Bank trainings. I attended on accessibility. And from there, I researched. I started using carton. I started with carton, use carton to create ramp. Because I believe that it is not enough to have a permanent ramp. There are some physical infrastructure that may be very difficult for you to modify. So I started using carton to to create a mobile ramp. And when the opportunity came from one organization, they asked me, they are looking for somebody that can build a mobile ramp because it's not their permanent office. And I have to use the training I've acquired then and my practice using carton. Then I went to workshops. I bought materials and I started making it. I tried it wasn't perfect. And don't forget that they requested for a mobile ramp with handrail. You know, it's kind of very challenging for me. But because I have access to training and I've been practicing it at home using carton, when the opportunities arise, I was able to provide solution to that. And that actually inspired me in my journey into the world of accessibility. What I'm trying to say is that if you are in the business that does not necessarily require technology, you can help yourself by ensuring that you attend training. There are many things that you will not learn in school. I study communication and language art from University of Ibadan. Imagine now moving to accessibility in terms of physical infrastructure. So it took my effort to attend that training because I want to grow. Okay? And then at a personal level, I have to start researching. I use Google. What are the accessibility code in America? At that time, Nigeria, we have not actually approved our own accessibility code. But now in Nigeria, we have our own standard. I have to use American standard, accessibility code to develop that as a mobile ramp. Then part of the things my organization, Start Student Development, also do is that they make sure that at any point we have opportunity to training. Maybe for instance, there was a training I attended by Lagos Chamber of Commerce for entrepreneurs. So Lagos Chamber of Commerce provide platform through Start Student Development initiative that I work with. So we attended that training. They taught us some of the basic needs that we need as an entrepreneur with this, and that is what inspired me. During that training, I was able to learn that I can also have my own share of the budget. How am I going to do that? I need to do that if I want to have my own share of budget. Let's say you are in Kenya and you are a person with disability, you need to have your own share of the national budget. What you do is that you look at what are the problems Kenya they want to solve, and if they accommodate that in the budget, then you think along that economically. By doing so, you'll be able to come up with a solution and you'll be able to have your own share. And as a business, as an entrepreneur, because you need to think out of the box, okay? And that's one of the things. Another thing we can do, as because I know that most persons with disability, we are into social projects. Our NGOs, non-governmental organizations, there is need for them to start creating awareness and organize workshops for entrepreneurs with disabilities so that they can bridge gap between the policy government is making and start creating solution around that. Because we are the one that's wearing the shoes. We know how it pinches us. We are in the best position to create business around any problem we are facing. So another thing that as a small business we need to start, how do we ensure financial inclusion is very important. We need to engage financial institutions on how they can start promoting and funding small businesses. Because the engine room of any successful business is funding. Sometimes you may have great ideas if you don't have capital. And what I mean by capital, it may not necessarily be in terms of cash. For instance, you can approach a bank, instead of giving you cash, they can buy you an equipment. Yeah. By that, you can support and grow your own business. I think, and one of the most important things I will also emphasize here, that also very, very, very key, is that your own integrity is also very important. For instance now, people take, as a person with disability, you have a business idea, and you actually, maybe you want to expand. You started already, you want to expand. If you do not have an integrity, it may be very difficult for you to approach investors or any other financial. By that, you will not get support. Because a client or customer asks you to do something, and you are unable to provide quality, or you are unable to deliver on that particular services. So it makes it difficult to even get other support. So integrity is also part of the things you can do for yourself as an entrepreneur with disability. Let people believe that you can deliver. Whatever, in any area you are, being in agriculture, let know that you are very consistent. Is also very key. It's also very key. Because now, one of the things that helped me is that, I told you how I started my rank constructions and all of that. And there was an international organization, they were looking for a consultant to build these things and all of that. And they have some detail my company provide. They have registered, I've registered my company. I've had some trainings, have some certification on accessibility and all of that. So when the opportunity arises, you know what, I grabbed it. And I was able to convince that I'm capable. It's a year project, and I deliver excellently well. So that to tell you that as a person, for you to get support, either from government or private sector, there is need for you to also support yourself. Because they say, heaven help those who help themselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rahim, for that background and those insights. Indeed, thinking out of the box and grabbing those opportunities. Victoria, if I can come back to you. You introduced yourself and you said that you are a farmer. Of course, we know there are developments in agriculture, smart farming, but still we have farmers who are not digital. So beyond digital, how can we support those entrepreneurs?
Yeah, first, me as a farmer, so like example, having a big farm, like a 20 hectare farm example, so the place is not very friendly. You understand? It's a very big environment, especially for person with disability. Normally when deaf people working around the farm, so it's not simple for you to actually identify where people are. So what we have done is we have digital devices that when you pull the devices, it makes noise. Because remember, at the farm we have a whole lot of snakes. You understand? So that can also be able to help. So it creates like a technical opportunity for farmers to be able to identify where the farm worker is. So especially like when you have to to walk around, basically to identify where one of the workers is. So little things like toilets. Remember now, toilets, when a deaf person is inside the toilet, when a person knocks, remember you cannot hear whether the person is knocking inside or the person is knocking from outside. So it's difficult actually to create that environment that is accommodating person with disability. So farms are often, they are not friendly, but including those environments or innovative ideas that can be, make sure that you be able to service the deaf. So, yeah, I understand like there's a lot of rooms where you have to walk far to be able to do accessibility. So using those technologies of innovations, there are a few things that can be fixed just to make sure that you create that accessibility for the deaf. Understand, you don't want to create it more like a dependency. So even you don't have the technology, you need to be innovative enough. And now you also have to create an environment where you create the value chain, and now you are able to now you have to find out how to work to solve those issues in the farm. Remember, we work with different type of technologies like water pumps. Then somebody can be able to hear whether there's water in the tank. So we find ways to make sure that they can be able to listen to say there's water, and create a lot of value chains so that these the employees at the farm, we teach them different skills like engineering skills, electrical skills, so that they can also be able to hire other deaf communities.
Great. Thank you so much. So to you, Eva and Malise, we are discussing as mentorship and capacity building as a key tool to grow businesses owned by persons with disabilities. How can business trainings, mentorship, made inclusive, and especially in the rural and underserved areas? Maybe Eva, you can start, then Malise, you can also chip in.
Absolutely. Sorry. We usually say training is like a magic fix. Once you've trained people, they'll be able to navigate the world of business. But I really don't think so. Training is not just a magic fix. And it will only work if it's, one, accessible training. Number two, if it's inclusive and if it's intentionally designed for the people that you're creating it for. So as the Action Foundation, those are one of the three critical things that we look at: inclusivity, accessibility, and creating any business training, especially we're talking about digital skills training, that's really intentional towards the people that we are serving. I've been in spaces where some contents, excellent content is delivered in terms of business skills training, but it's not targeted, for example, for the deaf, because there was no sign interpreter, sign language interpreter. So really, we can have all those trainings, but without putting in mind the people that you're doing the training for, then it will not be supportive. Also, you'll see young people with cerebral palsy, they cannot complete a digital skills training. So we've seen that happening. And it's not because they're not they're not excellent at the work, they actually are. It's just that our training facilities, for example, digital skills training, is not, does not have navigatable assistive technology that will help them. So I think we should, in terms of training, we should put the people that we are developing the training for in mind. The other thing is, I was thinking about a training we did with Immobilis. Immobilis is the one that's doing the Ajira training, digital skills training, and they have this 5% target of reaching the young people with disabilities. So we happen to have had several trainings with them for our young people. The digital skills training takes 5 days, but they have to consider that the young people, it's for all young people, but for the ones with disability, the 5 days cannot be enough. So we've had to really tailor our training in terms of the modalities, the training time, and the people who come with them into the training. You also have to consider the people who are coming with them in the training. When you talk about mentorship, there are several things that are very important with the mentors. So when you work with mentors, they have to be mentors who understand who am I going to mentor. They have to, first of all, be sold with the idea that I'm going to work with, say, Malise, and Malise is XYZ. So understanding the mentor that the mentee that you're working with is really, really key for you to have a successful mentor-mentee relationship. And that's very important because a successful mentorship, collaboration with a mentor-mentee will be successful only if that lived experience of the mentor or the mentee is put into consideration. So number one, we have to consider training the mentors and the mentees around the range of disabilities and lived experiences. You're going to work with people who are deaf, and this is what you require to work with them, or someone who's had a different types of disability, if it's, for example, neurological. And then how to communicate inclusively. So there are some languages you may use as a mentor and you lose your mentee, and vice versa. So communicating, because mentorship is really nothing. I think it's more about communication, understanding the other person, working with that person. It's almost like hand-holding and support to help, for example, that young person with disability to succeed. So inclusive communication that will be able to help them succeed. Last but not least, setting expectations and offering support without pity. So, some mentors would want to support, but they come off as it's pity. I'm helping the society. So just setting expectations. These are young people with disabilities. They want to achieve X, Y, Z. And of course, that starts with the mentee. We have to talk to them, get the expectations, set expectations right, and then have that two-way relationship that's clear. And we've seen that beautifully pan out in the ones that we've had. So I think I'll stop there.
Yes, to Malise.
Thank you. To create an inclusive training, I think that it should be intentional. We really need to highlight that because if it's not intentional, we can't achieve anything. So from the beginning, we should be intentional about creating accessible platforms, specifically if it is about digital training. So we need to make sure that the platforms are very accessible right from the beginning, not something afterthought. So, for instance, we need to make sure that if it is a platform, it's accessible with screen readers, with voice commands, sign language avatars, adjustable font, those kind of very simple things, but that can make a very huge impact. Also, it's very important in terms of mentorship that I can say mentorship for the youth with disability is very important. It's key because beyond a guidance, it's kind of a validation. Because for the youth with disability, it's have a mentor is a kind of you belong to do what you are doing, you belong to lead, you belong to be here. So a mentor needs really to understand that right from the beginning. And a mentor needs to have that empathy and understand which kind of disability his mentee has. Because each disability comes with its own challenge and its own perspective. So if the mentor doesn't really understand that, he can know how to relate to his mentee. And also, it's very important, a trust between a mentor and a mentee. So if from the beginning we don't have that trust, it's better to not move forward. So it's important that the one who are giving those mentorship ensure that there is a trust between the mentor and the mentee, and they really want to go forward. And it's also important to give a room so that at any time when that trust is loose, they can stop that relationship of mentorship. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eva and Malise, for those contributions. Malise, while you're holding the mic, quickly, we'd like to look at technology and innovation. And probably you could share what inclusive technologies, these can be assistive devices, mobile apps, market platforms, can support entrepreneurs in launching and running their businesses.
Okay. In terms of technology and innovation, I will say for people with disability, it's not necessarily the last big innovation, but the most important is the usability. Is the person with disability, can he use your technology? And I think some simple technology can make a very huge difference. For instance, for me who is a visual impaired, technology like screen readers, JAWS, and DVA can make a huge difference because it helps me to communicate with my phone or on my computers. Also, I can say for entrepreneurs with disability, we have mobile money, which can make a very huge difference because it can help them to even interact with their clients while at one place. And also, it's very important in terms of assistive technology, because people with disability really rely on assistive technology. And I want to point out that right now, assistive technology are very expensive. And it will be very good to have a very affordable assistive technology. And I think if we want to reach there, we entrepreneurs and Africans really need to dive on that space and really come up with affordable assistive technology so that we can have more youth with disability can use it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much, the members of the panel. Now, I want to come back to the audience and pick one or two questions. Unfortunately, because of time, 2 questions. And then if we still have more questions, we will be within the conference. We can have lunch together and we'll discuss. So I see a hand behind there.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pauline. I'm a caregiver to DJ Wiwa, the lady who's been DJing the conference with her feet. She was born with cerebral palsy. The reason I had to bring that history in is because I know several other parents who come up to me and their children are in the spectrum of cerebral palsy, but on the severe side. My sister has mild cerebral palsy. So I find parents with children who have severe cerebral palsy, and they come to me and ask me, what entrepreneurial, innovations are there for my child? That this child is not able to use their hands or their feet, but the parents still need this child to be able to one day earn a living, live a dignified life where they're making their own money, and still not be able to use their hands and feet. Does any of you in the panel have an idea that they can share with us so that now when we go back to our organizations, we have answers for these caregivers? Thank you.
Thank you. One more.
Thank you so much. Duncan Omondi. I work with the Federation of Kenya Employers. Now, I don't know, in the space of capacity building, I don't know to what extent we have integrated inclusivity in the training of trainers, whether they are mentors, trainers, coaches. I'm saying this because, the other day, our president assented to the act. And as the voice of employers, we had a session in Western Kenya to start sensitizing, especially our members in the private sector, for the 5% retainer. And you realize that the trainer is using some languages which are offensive. We have the deaf. The trainer just walks in between the interpreter and the deaf, so blocking communication, but is not aware. Even after giving feedback during tea break, you realize they still do the same mistakes. I realize something that needs to be internalized, practiced over a long period of time among the trainers so that then they are able to be inclusive. Otherwise, people feel that if I'm a trainer in the space of disability or entrepreneurship, then I can train anybody. So I think it's really important that we think about inclusivity, how that can be integrated in the training of trainers. I don't know whether there is any comment around that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Rahim, you'd like to take the first question?
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. You know, as a talent manager, I've worked with many different type of disabilities in the area of creative arts. So I think one of the first things that you can do, one of the things you can recommend for those that have autism spectrum or any other form of intellectual disability is to parents is the number one stakeholders in the management, because as a parent, there is need for you to be observing your children right from infancy to know what are the talents. Because there are some, you may not be able to use your feet, your hand, but some may be able to use their mouth. Do you get it? To do a lot of things, okay? Some may be able to use other part of the body to do, it could be on painting, okay? And you can even get them different toys. Some may play around toys, play with computers, and we have seen many of them doing great things, designing game, using game and all of that. So what you need to do is that the parents need to be, pay attention to that child to be able to know what are the talents, because one thing that is, I believe that we are, as a person with disability, there is no mistake in you being a person with disability, because you are specifically designed by the mastercraft God, and you are not a waste. So there must be something you can contribute. But the problem we have is that most parents, instead of them to pay attention, I understand that it is not easy to manage disability actually. I understand it can be traumatic and all of that. But to help that child succeed in life, you need to pay attention to that child. You will find something that child has passion for. I will also make reference to someone, I forgot his name, he's in Nigeria. He loved playing piano a lot. And we've invited him to many programs, both local and international, playing using feet. And the first time, I'm not very emotional actually. I hardly said, shed tear or whatever. But the first time I saw DJ Wiwa, maybe because I'm in that sector, I said tear. I was like, wow, do you get it? And I'm so proud of DJ Wiwa. And DJ Wiwa is a good example for all the children who may be interested in creative art. There are other areas that you can as well work on. So in short, I will summarize: parent number one, the caregiver, they can as well help, then as well as the professionals in that field. So it's a combination of different hands together. By doing so, you'll be able to know where the area that child is good or where he can actually make contributions economically. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Rahim. Maybe Eva, you can take the second question.
Yes, and I'd also like to mention something about the first one in brief. I feel like what you're asking is, do we have creative spaces as organizations? For example, I'm here speaking on behalf of the Action Foundation. Do we have spaces where we are nurturing those talents? Maybe the parents require somebody else to support them to identify the kind of talents they have. As the Action Foundation, we proudly have 4 hubs in Nairobi, all of them situated in the inner cities. We're talking about Kibera, we're talking about Mkuru Kwanjenga, we're talking about Dagoretti and other places. Some of these hubs are actually strategically placed together with schools, special needs education schools, for example, the Dagoretti one. And some of these spaces are amazing. Bring your children there, and you'll be able to start identifying some of those talents, and then we'll walk with you from that. So I also encourage the rest of us in the room who are in organizations to create some of those spaces, and the parents, bring your children to those spaces because they're created for those children. On the question about training, After 15 years, we are almost done with teenagehood, so we've learned and seen what training looks like. So the question around trainers not being, inclusive, I think that is rightly put. So one of the things we've learned and we do, again, I mentioned it earlier, is just having communication tools and etiquette, first and foremost. Just having those soft skills training for the trainers, for them to be able to handle inclusive learning, so inclusive education. I also understand the government of Kenya, of course, trains specifically inclusive training that requires them to also have some of those etiquettes, some of those tools for them to understand how to deal with the children. Number two, we need to continue unlearning assumptions. There are some of these assumptions that you have that probably they're understanding what I'm doing with 1 minute, okay, with 1 hour lesson, they'll be able to get what I'm saying and things like that, whatever examples that you are giving. We need to unlearn some of these assumptions. And this will come with, having training that is not only once, but in-service, pre-service kind of training. And I'm proud to say, as the Action Foundation, we are currently doing that in partnerships with several counties. For example, Kajiado County. Right now, we've signed an MOU. We are working with their teachers, trying to retrain them, retool them, reskill them around these assumptions, around these tools that will be able to help them support our young people with disabilities better. Last but not least, offering feedback and that has respect and clarity. So we also insist on trainers offering feedback with respect and clarity. And that still goes back into the training aspects, the communication aspects. So we should not ignore some of these things. And sometimes it's just some of those assumptions that we've lived with. So I really call upon all of us. It's a call of action. Let's be inclusive, all of us. And when you see something wrong, call it out with love. Just tell somebody, I feel you're a great trainer, but when it comes to XYZ, can we work on that? So I think as the Action Foundation, we are open to support all of us in that particular aspect. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Eva. And also to connect to what, Eva, you have said. At Light for the World, we also work with trainers of trainers. And one of the key learning that we have seen, we prepare the TOTs for this training, but sometimes we allocate disability inclusion session a very short time. So what we have learned is we need to allocate enough time when it comes to disability inclusion for the TOTs. Let them understand what inclusive methodologies look like. Then, of course, during the training, there is the ongoing mentorship for the TOTs along the training. Yes, so thank you so much, our audiences, for those questions. I'm aware there are so many questions, but because of time, we will not pick them, but we can connect later. We are here, so you can keep your questions and please get in touch with us. So as we conclude, coming back to my panel members, I want you to do two things in half a minute, and I will start with you, Victoria, then to you, Rahim, Annette, Malise, and finally, Eva. You share just one inspiring example of young entrepreneurs with disabilities overcoming barriers and growing their businesses, and then your call to action. Remember, part of our audience is here. We have investors. We have state and non-state actors. We have young people. So what is your call to action? We can start quickly to you, Victoria. Then we finish with you, Eva.
Okay, in my company, I hire people who've never been to school before. There's a lot of people who've never finished school. Their education level is very low. So most of them, they've never been to school. Starting from scratch, I teach them sign language, basic sign language first. Then just to them how to learn the job, step by step. What is your name? Basic things, simple things. Remember, these people, they've never done sign language before. I create groups where I teach them very patiently. so which is difficult. Remember, agricultural words are not simple, so it's like a science to them. So teach them how to actually sell, make food for themselves, the fertilizers they are using, so that they can understand how I teach them. That's how I do. I'm very much patient, so that they can understand. I give them pictures, so that if something they have to do, like the measurement, what type of measurement are we supposed to be using, so that you must not use too much fertilizers, so that people cannot get sick. You understand? Remember now, these people, they've never been to school anymore. Now they're actually improving. So more and more now, a lot of deaf now, I train them, they have a certificate. So with that patience, so it's the passion that I get. So remember, they come from poor environment. So now I supported a whole lot of them. Now they got to understand agriculture and what is happening, and they've never signed before. Now they can sign with confidence. So now all deaf, they started supporting each other. That is why my company, it doesn't matter whether you've been to school or not. So I take you from scratch. So that's what equality that I'm creating.
Thank you. Rahim.
So I will start by saying that think big. Think what? Think big, then start small. Look at your immediate environment as an entrepreneur, as an aspiring young person with disabilities. There are so many problems you can solve within your community that you can turn to products that are going to generate income. You start with your immediate environment, move to then grow to the country, to your own country, because there are so many untapped ideas that can actually turn to what? To business opportunities. You need to start thinking out of the box. Then by doing so, you'll be able to overcome all the challenges and, all the challenges that has to do with, creating a business. I will also add that, our chief want in life is someone to inspire us to be what we really want to be. So, which means that look for a successful or somebody that is succeeding, who has maybe with disability or not, as a mentor to guide you so that you can be the best you want to be. And let me also say that in our own story, I would say that I started with just an idea, with little or no capital. But idea. But today, our company, we've been able to grow within very, very short period of time. We now have over, 100 million annual turnover. Do you understand that? And I started with just an idea. So, which means that you can as well be the best you want to be. And our intention is that in the next 5 years, we'll be able to capture, to be able to expand to African market, and 10 years, to be able to compete favorably with other, business leaders in the world. Because our intention is to also contribute our own quota to development of our country economically and our continent, as well as, international community at large. So I have no doubt in your capacity as a young person with disability that you can be the next Dangote, the richest man in Africa. That is my vision for you, as a young person with disability, to be the next richest man in Africa. It is possible. There are many perfect examples. You can go online, search for them. I will also make reference to another successful entrepreneur with disability who is doing very well. The CEO of Background Check. You don't have to create business around issue of disability. It doesn't. You don't have to do that. It's not necessary. Mm-hmm. If you don't, you can create business around different things. Let me tell you, the CEO of Background Check International, Dr. Kola Olubodien, you can Google the name online. Create a business around different things, and it's the pioneer in Africa with disability. You can search the person, Google Dr. Kola Olubodien, CEO of Background Check International. So it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You don't have to create business around disability, inclusion, accessibility. If you have passion for that, go ahead. If not, any sector you have passion for, start innovating to what? To market. Again, start innovating to what? To market. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahim.
Yeah, thank you very much. For me, I can say that when I was graduating at the University of Dar es Salaam, the first degree, actually I was through the education, so I was believing that I will be employed. But according to the challenge I face, many companies rejected because of my disability. So what I can say, and I can encourage you that whatever challenge you are facing, don't blame yourself about that challenge. Keep going. That challenge, turn it to the opportunity. Really, I'm telling you, one day you'll be a greater person. For the first time we started our business, actually our product were not certified by the TBS. But right now we are talking now, our product is now certified by TBS. Now we are benefited to this East Africa market. So what I can tell you that, please believe in yourself. It is impossible. Now we are distributing the peanut butter around the East Africa market. Now we have produced the wine, the best wine. East Africa, East Africa, the best wine. So what I say, it started from you. Believe in yourself. You know, don't take your disability challenge as an obstacles. So whatever I can tell for you youth with disability, please don't regret to fail. Keep believing in yourself. So I can end here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Annette. Very, very strong there. Thank you. Malice?
Okay, thank you. I want to share a quick 2 success stories and then my call to action. For the first success story, I want to share the example of one lady in my country who is a visual impaired. And she wanted to go in business, but doesn't know how to start because she doesn't have any funding. But we only look at what she has. She has a phone. And then we started to do some digital basic training, how she can use WhatsApp, social media with assistive technologies. And she succeeded to do it. And then she negotiates with retailers to get their product, post on WhatsApp, sell it, and then at the end of the day, she got money. Donc, I want just to say from there that you just need to think out of the box. If you want to start, just start with what you have. And when we started to think out of box, even where we don't see solution, there is solution. And the second story I want to tell is about myself. I'm very passionate about technology, and I already finished my master's degree in data before becoming sedentary visual impaired 4 years ago. And when that happened, it was heartbroken, as you can imagine. And most of people advise me to leave the technology space because they think right now, as I don't have my eyesight, I can stay in that field. And they were advising me to do something related to disability, but I don't think I wanted to leave my passion. So I said, no, I need to stay in that field. And I started to train myself with assistive technology. And within 1 year, I was able to do it. It's true that I'm still learning, but at least I have some basic who helped me to even get some consultancy from the international organization like the World Bank Group. When I was getting that consultancy, I couldn't imagine. And when I was disclosing my visual impairment, I was thinking that, oh, they may refuse, but they accept. And I worked with them, and they were very satisfied with my job. And that gave me even more motivation to move forward. So by that, I just want to say to every youth with disability here that to never give up. If you want to do something, just follow your passion. As you said, you can just innovate in these disability areas, but you don't need to. If you are passionate about other things, just go for your passion, and with motivation, I'm sure that you will find a way to do it. And my call to action, I want to say that technology alone will not create change, but people will. And policy, investments, and partnership must follow. So you, to innovators in the room, and employers and all those who offer products, I want to say to not just build product for people with disability, but build product with people with disability. Call on board youth with disability, because when you integrate inclusion, you don't just change lives, but you change systems. And my last call, but not the least, that's go to investors and donors. Just remind about small French-speaking countries, because most of the time they are really forgotten. And like my country, Benin, most of the donation or most of the investment are targeting big country in Africa, or those who are from English-speaking country. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly to you, Eva.
Last but not least, I'm going to say there's a lot of potential in entrepreneurship. Talking about data in Kenya, around 16% of young people, both with and without disabilities, are unemployed or underemployed currently in Kenya. So you see, and we're talking about a country of over 43 million people. So I'm going to say all these people, all these young people that you see, the 16%, every year as a nation, we release 1 million young people from higher learning, universities, technical schools, who are qualified, degrees, diplomas, certificates. So there's really a very small market for job, for the formal sector. My encouragement is, let us go into entrepreneurship. Let's create these job opportunities, and there's a future in entrepreneurship. So in closing, I'm going to say, we're not asking for sympathy. As young people with disabilities, we're not celebrating inspiring moments. And I love the fact that there are so many inspiring moments. For example, our caregivers and our young people with disabilities create amazing work in the fashion and design industry. For example, the bag that I was carrying, the laptop bag that I was carrying, someone would show it up. Yeah, things like those ones, fashion and design, things that are really competitive in the market. We have a lot of success, and we're not just celebrating those kind of successes. We are demanding systemic transformations, not only from the government, but from the NGOs that are supporting the young people with disabilities. Because inclusion is not a favor, it's a human right, it's a smart investment, and entrepreneurship is a source of innovation for this nation and Africa. So at the Action Foundation, we've seen what's possible when young people with disabilities are given the right tools, and I'm calling to action that we all give the right tools that are accessible. Number two, can we trust the young people with disabilities? Talking about the financial institutions, can we trust them with their ideas? The organizations that are supporting them, the caregivers, trust the young people with disabilities. And then number three, give them the training that they require, because they're not just building businesses, they're reshaping narratives that young people with disabilities are not able to do a few things. So I leave you with a challenge. Don't just applaud inclusion. It's one step into the success that we're looking at. Let's fund it, let's legislate it, and let's design it and measure what levels we are at. I hope next year we're going to have a lot more entrepreneurs in this room, and probably just come with some of them that the Action Foundation has worked with. Because when we invest in the potential of youth with disabilities, we don't just change their lives, we're transforming our economies and our communities. And I also want to give one example of Nancy. Nancy was a young person, is a young person, not was, is a young person who recently launched her jewelry business, earrings, jewelry, all right, jewelry business. And it's an online business. Today we were talking about digital skills and digital marketing. So that business has really gone a long way. With a little support with digital skills training, she was able to launch that business And she was able to be trained in graphic design. I was talking about Immobile's training, graphic design. She came up with her posters. Now her business is doing well. I believe she's able to get a few clients from there. So there's also still, other than traditional entrepreneurship, think about taking your business to the online spaces as much as possible. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, the members of the panel. We have come to the end of our session, and I can see Teddy behind me. But I do really want to take this opportunity to thank you, the members of the panel, for sitting here with us, sharing with us your experiences, your expertise. Thank you so much. And to the audience, thank you very much for listening to us. We do really appreciate it. And thank you.